Welcome back to my kitchen, and good evening or morning or afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. It's pretty late at night for me right now. I'm going to set up a very, hopefully simple, low budget tank for fish. It's going to be planted pretty decently. I'm going to basically doing this on a very tight budget just to show that it's possible and you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to get a beautiful planted tank. I'll start off. The aquarium is a 5.5 gallon Aqueon from PetSmart. It was only $13. Pretty good deal. Filter, you don't need something crazy expensive, especially this small. You don't need a canister filter, an external filter. Yes, it's nice if you want to get a Nano external filter with some Nano lily pipes. Yeah, that'd be beautiful. Even go rimless tank, of course. Got a real cheap hang on the back filter from Amazon, Phoenix Pure 7, which will be more than enough, 10 times turnover rate for this tank because it claims 52 gallons per hour. I'm going to be using some Biomax in here in the filter, fluval stratum, and then I have sand, which is going to be, I'm going to do a little river style. Now, this sand can get expensive if you get it from an aquarium store or a website. I'm not saying don't spend your money there, obviously support your local fish store. This 5-pound bag of sand from Home Depot was $6, $7, which should be twice that much at anywhere else, and from my understanding it's the same thing. Same thing with the stones. I know this isn't common, but I got some river stones also from the garden center. A gigantic bag, more than will last a lifetime with tanks like this, was 12 bucks, all different sizes in here. I got them washed and cleaned. I also got a very large bag of pea gravel or pea pebbles, which I'm going to use for the kind of details, and it's all the same color. The sand, the stones, this pea gravel, it's all going to blend pretty nicely. Hopefully look somewhat natural, except the plants I'm using. I'm not using traditional river style plants because I'm on a budget, and I'm using plants that I already have. So I trimmed one of my tanks. I got some AR Mini. I've got some Sterogyne repens. The stem plants for the back, I have Rotala hra, and I have Ludwigia repens. And for the foreground, or the carpeting plant, which is not going to be much, is have this whole pitcher full of Glossostigma, which that spreads and creeps like crazy. Not sure how well it's going to do without CO2. I'm also doing a budget light, which I'll show you guys a little bit later. And I have an idea, so let's get some of that down here. Some of this down to both sides. This comes in tabs, which means you just place them like every 4 or 6 inches. So the fact that it is crushed up, a little bit more over here, and spread more dispersed like this, the plants will have an easier time finding it. What I'm going for. So there'll be Glossostigma here. I might put a little bit here, but there's not much room, and I do got to raise this up. So let me pour in some sand. I was looking around at this and kind of adjusted it to have more sand, more slope, and scoot that way. I don't know, I just like how that looks better with some more sand. So let me go ahead and add more sand in here now. I think that looks decent. Moving on with the soil. It's better to start with less and add more. All right, when you start planting, I'm gonna wet this. Ooh, don't squirt it in there like that. Get this soil nice and damp. It'll help just the plants kind of stick. I start to do this more often. If more people like and subscribe to my videos, I'll invest in some better quality equipment, like a pressure sprayer for one, that a lot of people use instead of doing this. This Glossostigma, I have some really nice runners here. So I think the best way to do this is like I showed in my Save Your Plants video, or Stop Wasting Your Plants. I'll put the little tag up top. But I'm gonna run these so they're all, the roots are all going one way and the leaves going the other, the stems, and I'm gonna roll it up. So I'm thinking like that. So now that's a nice little bunch I can plant. So that's how I'll do it. It's an AR Mini, and it's just beautiful too. And that was maybe 4 inches above the substrate in the other tank. And now I could throw that in there to have a giant one to begin with, but let me go with like this little guy. Let me get some smaller ones in here. Okay, stem plants will go behind that, but let me move over to this other side, and I'll start throwing this Sterigine rep in. This is a little easier to do with some water in the tank, so the plants don't just flop over, you know, like that, and kind of a better idea of where they're going to be. But I'll just do that for each of them, flop them all forward. That way when I fill it up, you'll be able to, it'll float up and go where it wants to. I think that's done. Let me have a look. Let me get this filter set up. Get that out of the way. Show you guys this filter real quick. I'm not doing a whole unboxing review or nothing. Just this neat little filter. I really like how small it is. I'm gonna get rid of this little cartridge it comes with. This little carbon cartridge. Not gonna use that. I'm gonna use the Biomax. I am gonna use this foam. I have a larger PPI foam here. Not quite ready for the filter. I was just kidding. Got ahead of myself. I got these pea pebbles to put in. Pea gravel, pea pebbles. The bag says pea pebbles. Gotta get that in there and fill it with water. Then I'll worry about the filter. But these, I'm just gonna sprinkle some of these in here along the edges of the rocks and the cracks. I'm gonna sprinkle help fill those cracks in, and just kind of laying about like that. And you see how it's simple. For me, I feel like there's a lot more that needs to be done, and I can make it look a lot nicer and a lot tidier, but it's not supposed to, and that's me just overthinking. Just throw them in there. Where they land is kind of where they land, and that's how nature would be also, right? Let's get some water in her. But put some paper towels in here just to disperse the water. I don't know about you guys, but I am pretty pleased with how that looks. You know, it's not your traditional riverscape. It's not your traditional anything aquascape. That's why I'm calling it just a planted tank. I don't want to take credit away from aquascaping and the beauty of it and the art and the realisticness or the proportions or the golden ratios. This is just a planted tank. I have done an aquascape. My 20-gallon long is beautifully aquascaped, and I will do more in the future. It's just this one I wanted to throw something together, real budget, to show you what could be done. Little creativity, little budget shopping at your Home Depot garden center. But anyway, I got the foam cut down for the filter. I have not even shown you guys the light yet. Now, this is not the light that's going to be on here permanently. It's just the light for now. Let me just turn it on. So the water's a little cloudy, but it looks pretty good. As you can see, the plants look pretty decent under this light, but I'm going to get a better one. This is not going to be the permanent light for this tank. It is the AquaClear Biomax. Let's get this plugged in. I'm using water conditioner, I'm using Prime, and I'm also going to get some Fritz Zymes, which is beneficial bacteria, just to help kickstart it. This filter, you guys, is silent. Wow. But what I can do now, and this is a very tiny tank, so I'm just going to put very, very little of the API water conditioner, about 1 thread in the cap. That's it. That's all that'll need. And just because, I'm going to add a little bit of the Prime also. Same thing, just up to 1 thread in the cap, which is roughly 1 milliliter. So it's been 1 week since I've had this tank set up. I got the light put on there. I got the Nano Sky LED Plus 2.0. It's an 11 watt light. It's not this bright in person. It's just the camera, the exposure light picks it up. So yeah, it's not that bright. But there was a change of plans. I was originally setting this tank up for a betta fish, and I made the mistake of showing my wife and kids the pea puffers. So this tank is a good size for one pea puffer. It's 5.5 gallon. It's decently planted for hiding places, but I got 3. And I know that's too many for this tank, and so I'm going to be making some changes in this to add a lot more coverage to break up the sight line so there's less territorial fighting and whatnot. So far they've been doing fine in there. They've been there for about 3 days. There's no fighting, there's no picking at each other. I got plenty of snails in there. Let me turn that off, that's too bright. I got plenty of snails in there because my 15 gallon is just overrun. I have hundreds of bladder snails in there, so unlimited food source. Thanks to the Fritzymes, nitrifying bacteria, I've been testing my water daily because it has only been set for 1 week and I already have fish in there. I put 5 baby guppies because another tank of mine is overrun with guppies. So I put about 5 guppies in there on day 1. They're all fine, no signs of stress. Like I said, I check the levels daily. My ammonia is 0. I don't know how well that's picking that up. 0 ammonia. 0 nitrite, and nitrate's probably around 5 parts per million on that. So the water's fine. You can add fish to a brand new tank. You don't have to wait for it to fully cycle if you do it properly. If you're experienced and you know how to use nitrifying bacterias, stay on top of water changes, stay on top of checking the water, daily, it's fine. If you're a beginner, say you don't have a test kit or you don't have Fritzymes or Turbo Start, some type of nitrifying bacteria, I would not recommend putting fish in so quickly, but mine are doing fine. I'll do a quick breakdown of the cost of this since it was a budget build video for people that don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a tank. Tank was $12.49, and then the light, that light was actually the most expensive part of all of this if you're not including the soil, the stratum. But the light was the most expensive part, and that was only 25 bucks or $24.99. The filter, $12. The Biomax that I put in the filter, which is optional. You don't have to do that. It just gives a lot more surface area for the beneficial bacteria to grow on, to live, to help keep the ammonia and nitrites down. But it's not necessary, but it does help, and for $6.50 for that Biomax, you might as well do it. Now the stratum, which I already had, so this didn't cost me anything, was the big bag. I think it's an 18-pound bag, is $28.99, so about 30 bucks. They also have smaller bags, I think 4 pounds or 7 pounds, that are around like $15. The stones, the bigger ones, the river stones, $12 for a gigantic bag. The sand was $7 each bag. I did get 2 bags. I only used about half a bag for this tank. So $7 for that 1 bag of sand. I only used half. Giant bag of pea gravel, $5. And I'm talking huge. I got plenty left. So without the stratum included, because I didn't have to purchase that, I spent $80 on this entire setup. And the reason I didn't throw in the stratum and the total price to $80 is because you could easily do this with just the sand and the root tabs, which, oh, by the way, the root tabs, those specific ones from Seachem, it's $12, I think, for like a bag of 10 of them. And this size tank, I only used 4 because I only put 2 and 2. You could this entire tank with 6. So, and that's another thing that I already had. So something I didn't add in there was the plants because I didn't purchase those. I already had them. Anyway, I was just showing you guys real quick what you could do on a budget, low tech, no CO2, low budget light. That should be good enough. These plants are all doing great. And yeah, the pea puffers are happy. They're eating snails like crazy. They're pretty awesome. I'm kind of glad I got them because I already know people are going to say 3 pea puffers in here is way too many, which I agree. I'm going to add a bunch of Bucephalandra in the back. I'm going to add probably more Sterigine. I might even add some wood in here just to break it up more, to give them each their own little territory. So far, they're all getting along. It's all working well. The problem is how small the tank is. It's hard to maintain and keep the water safe. But if you're on top of the testing, the water changes, which I do all of my tanks weekly. This one, for the first couple weeks, I might have to do it twice a week until the beneficial bacteria is built up well, until the plants are kind of growing faster and taking up some of the nitrites and nitrates and ammonia. But that's it, and I'm pretty happy with it. There's some things I would have done differently, but you know, that's in hindsight. I think the tank looks awesome, especially for $80 for a pretty awesome little tank. And real quick too, the legs don't come like that, how high it is. I did some, what we call in America, some Mickey Mousing or jerry rigging, and bent the legs, because those lights sit, I'll show it, right on top of the tank. There's no elevation to it, so the light wasn't getting a good enough spread in the tank. So I just got a couple of pairs of pliers and bent those wires up to raise it up a little bit, and I made sure it's even, like that thing's sitting pretty level. It's not all wonky or nothing, even though the legs on that side kind of look like they are. So if you made it this far, again, thank you. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Thank you for liking, and I'll see you guys in the next one.